Joining us tonight, the chairman of the American Conservative Union, Matt Schlapp. Great to have you with us, Matt. Washington Examiner chief political correspondent, Byron York. Byron, great to see you. And Fox News contributor, Rachel Campos-Duffy. Great to have you with us, Rachel.
Thank you.
Let's start with this thank you tour. This is creating so much goodwill for the president-elect. I mean, it's just amazing to watch how much fun everybody's having, in part reliving election night.
Absolutely. It's super fun. And anybody who didn't get to make it during the campaign trail gets to go again, or gets another chance to do it again. And he's coming to Wisconsin, I believe, next week, and I plan to go as well. So I think it's exciting. And
Byron, your thoughts on the developments that are occurring in the backdrop here. First, let's begin with Rudy Giuliani today acknowledging that he had withdrawn his name from consideration to be Secretary of State or for any appointment that might have occurred to the transition team 10 days ago. This is that's a sudden development, a shock, and obviously it's a program for preparation for the naming of a Secretary of State by the president-elect.
Well, it's a big deal, and who would have during the campaign predicted this? Giuliani, extremely effective surrogate for Donald Trump, traveled with him a lot, gave a real knockout speech at the Republican convention, but appears to have kind of painted himself into a corner in this whole transition process by saying that he would really only accept one job, and that is Secretary of State. And, you know, there are four big cabinet positions: Secretary of State, Treasury, Defense, and the Attorney General. And three of those have gone really smoothly for Donald Trump. But there's obviously a snag in this Attorney General thing, and Rudy Giuliani finally just got himself out of it.
Yeah, I think he's, in withdrawing, he showed great, I think he did something very smart. He decided enough of the insult. This has become an insulting process for the people who prospectively would become Secretary of State. Your thoughts, Matt? It looks like the Reince Priebus axis may have had its will exercised here. What do you think?
Well, let me tell you, I've been involved in transitions, and as you know, I worked for President Bush in the White House, and it's a very painful thing for people when their names kind of float out to the press and they get vetted or they have background checks done. It's a painful process, and I think Rudy Giuliani is handling this with a lot of class, and it's the reason why we always thought of him as America's mayor. And I'm glad that he's out there with a smile on his face.
Yeah, he's out there with a smile on his face, but that speaks to his character, his class, and also the fact that he's one of the most fierce, one of the fiercest and most successful prosecutors in the country. He's a fighter for Donald Trump. He's got some great people around him right now that he's brought into the cabinet and his administration. I don't see anybody there, though, that has the personal connection or tie to Trump who, you know, Rudy's a guy who would have had his back no matter what and could have brought up as quickly as any of the establishment folks that may wish to shape their will.
Well, listen, I thought Rudy would have been a great pick. He's who I would have wanted to see in that office. He obviously understands global issues, and he's close to the president, as you said, Lou, and that's an important thing for foreign leaders. They like to talk to somebody who they know is close to the president. But I would just say this. I know that there's talk about Rudy really wanting this job. He indicated he wanted this job. He probably would have been offered it.
Why the heck is that such a big deal? I think if he didn't acknowledge he wanted it, he would be less than straightforward.
That's fine, but I just want to be clear. I think Rudy Giuliani went in to help Donald Trump win because he loves America, because he really thought that America was going in the wrong direction, and he wanted to fight because he thought...
Who froze him out?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, maybe they were just better candidates. Maybe they were better candidates. I mean, in some ways, you know, there are other people that have more in foreign policy. But I'm just saying, I don't think that Rudy Giuliani expected this quid pro quo. You know, I helped you, so you got to get me this. I think in the end, they're going to get who the best person is for the job.
I think you were right. And Matt, is it going to be smooth sailing from here?
Yeah, this is a much more public transition than we've ever seen.
Well, that's a happy thing. Sunlight.
Yeah, it is. Except
transparency. All that transparency and openness that Obama promised, Trump is delivering. I love it.
That's a very fair point, Lou. And I think it is a little. I never would have thought that Newt and Christie and Rudy wouldn't be in the cabinet. So it is a little bit shocking.
Thank you very much, Byron. Your last. We've got 10 seconds. Your final thought.
Well, it's actually gone fairly smoothly now, and if he can finally get this Secretary of State thing taken care of, it's been actually a rather smooth process. Now on to those people just under cabinet secretaries who play such a hugely important role in the administration.
That's up next. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.